primer, I'm gonna use the Tatcha Silk Canvas. This is the, I guess not the trial size, it's like the mini version. I was not about to spring that much money on a primer when I hadn't tried it. And any other putty primer that I've tried, I wasn't like a huge fan of. However, this one, I must say, the smell alone is incredible. But you kind of have to like, basically what I've noticed is I kind of warm up the product in my hands. That's what it looks like. And then I just blend it into areas where I feel like I have a heavy pore presence. So mostly like right here. And it really helps to blur. And also I feel like it's really hydrating too, which is nice. And then this is just chapstick. Nothing exciting. So next, this is Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. Now, I have heard many things about this product. I've heard you can use it on its own. It's a hair dark and shiny for me to use it on its own. I think the girl, this is in the shade medium, number 4. I think the girl at Nordstrom thought I was a little more tan than I was. And I honestly always have a spray tan in the summertime anyways. So, like, see, it's a little dark. So I don't know that I'd use it on its own, but under your makeup, it makes it so glowy. You'll see. So I just put it really in the center of my face. Like I said, on areas where I want to glow. And then I'm just going to take a flat buffer brush to kind of spread it out, because I feel like a beauty blender tends to soak up a lot of product, and that's not really what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, so last week I went to Dallas to see my friend Paloma. We went to all the way from elementary school through high school together. So we've known each other for a really long time. But she lives down there, and it's a couple hours from Texarkana. So I went, I think it was like Thursday of last week, and shopped mostly for Kyle. He needed a lot of new clothes. I swear the man, like, his body completely transforms like every year. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so he needed some new clothes, and then in turn I perused through, let's see, Sephora. I went to Ulta. We have an Ulta here, but it's just like it doesn't have all of the brands that the big city Ultas do. And then Nordstrom, which is where I got most of my new stuff, because most of my new stuff is the Charlotte Tilbury stuff. So after that's blended, gonna take a beauty blender and just go over it, make sure there's no lines left from the brush. My skin is like finally starting to clear up. It's honestly the reason I didn't post anything for the last few weeks, because I wanted to do this makeup video, but I felt like my skin was really crazy. So now I have kind of a new skincare routine down pat that I feel like is really helping me out. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I can do a video on that. But anyways, okay, so now foundation, finally. I know, like 10 minutes in. These are 2 drugstore foundations that I've kind of seen. I don't really think they're anything new. I think they've been out for a year or 2 now. They're the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I got the color warm beige and light beige because, you know, drugstore, you can't try anything out. And that's typically what I go for. So I'm gonna do the light beige. It looks really light in the bottle, but I will say I tested it out on my hand and I felt as though it got more tan. So we'll just see. It's kind of a lot. I'm sorry, my mirror's over here, so that's why I'm looking over here. In case anyone was curious, which I'm sure you weren't. So it does give, this is the first time I've actually worn it on my face. I've tested it out on my hand, but not on my face. I usually don't wear a full coverage concealer. I'm typically like a pretty light coverage, medium, I would say, glowy, natural coverage type of gal, but since my skin has been acting up, I wanted to try out a more full coverage, just so I'd feel a little better about it. But I didn't really want to spend like luxury brand money on a new concealer, or excuse me, a new foundation, because I don't wear like hardcore full coverage very often. So y'all can tell, really, really good coverage, and you can still see the glow from underneath, which is good. It's not just like totally wiping out that product. So honestly, like the idea of it being, you know, conceal and perfect, I get it. For me, my dark circles are a little too dark, so I'm gonna have to actually use concealer. So for that is another drugstore product. I actually picked these up at Target a couple of weeks ago. These are the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This one is the 16-hour Camo Concealer. And then this one is the Hydrating Camo Concealer with a satin finish. So you would think that they don't really work well together. Basically, I just didn't know what color I needed. So this one I used to spot conceal. This is light beige. And then this one is light sand. And I use that one under my eyes because it's really light. So I just take a little dollop there, and then I do them out in the corner. I actually saw, I think her name's Francesca from Too Hot to Handle. I follow her on YouTube. She posted a video where she was like talking about how she does her makeup. And she says she doesn't place the concealer in the middle of her eyes. It blends out to there, but she doesn't necessarily focus it there, and she does it more on the inner and outer corners, and she finds that it lifts her eye more, which I am very much into the kind of cat eye effect. So this is just a Morphe brush. I just am blending it out with this first before the Beauty Blender, so it doesn't like right away carry product into the center. So let's blend. This concealer you do have to move a little quick because it can build up. Or I guess not necessarily build up, but it can like set a little quickly. Okay, this is Hollywood Beauty Light Wand Easy Highlighter in the color Spotlight. Also a Charlotte Tilbury product. So basically, looks like this. You just dab it onto the high points of your cheeks. Like so. I'll do it on my nose. And then I also like to do it on my forehead. Just where, like, I guess the sun would naturally hit it. Okay. So now we can go in and set the under eye. To do so, I'm going to use, this is not a new product, but this is Charlotte Tilbury. We're staying in the Charlotte Tilbury family today, if you haven't caught that drift yet. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish Perfecting Powder. This is in the color number 1. It's the perfect under eye and kind of like T-zone area color. Really good to brighten everything up with. I know some people prefer to set with a loose powder, but I find this one just locks everything in to my full desire. Okay, so next we're gonna do a little cream contour. I picked up the Fenty Beauty, this is the Trio, this is the shade, I think it's the medium Trio, and I got that because the light, the contour shade just was really, really cool toned, and that is what you want to use to contour. However, on me it just did not look good. So the contour shade for this one is Mocha, and this is what it looks like. It's actually way better on my skin tone. So I'm gonna pop that into place and then blend it out. And then I'll do it under my chin too, but I'll blend that out first. I look like a scarecrow. It does blend out really, really nicely. As you can tell, this side's a little more blended than this one. But I am going to use my beauty blender too, so. Okay. Now, you may or may not noticed I have 3 beauty blenders. I think it's just good because I find while doing my makeup, it can build up in the beauty blender, the product can. So you want to really like, instead of cleaning it mid makeup, I just have a few. I used to be really good about like keeping one for powders only and one for bronzer only and so on and so forth, but now I kind of just use them all for everything. You know how that goes. Okay. I'm gonna do a little bit of my double chin contour. We'll be right back. So yeah, that's that on that. Gonna lightly powder my face and we'll be back. Oh, just text Rakina things. Man driving his 4-wheeler down the street. Love that for me. I'm getting really cultured living here for sure. Look at what just like a flawless, perfect base that is. Took 20 minutes, but people, that is where you spend your time, on your base, because then everything else is just like icing on the cake. You don't want to eat the cake if it has gross cake, you know, just if it has good looking icing. You can't really have good looking icing if you have a cake that's falling apart. So moral of the story, pay attention to your face. Okay, so jumping back in. Bronzer. Can anyone guess who it's by? Your girl, Charlotte Tilbury. So this is the Airbrush Bronzer. This is a matte bronzing filter for face and body. This is in the shade 2 medium. I have to kind of like really swipe around in there, but it's a nude powder, so that would make sense, I would suppose. It is a very warm colored powder, warm shaded powder, so it's not like it is what it says it is. It's for bronzing. It's not necessarily for contouring, but if you're just looking for like an overall very bronzed look, this is your girl. And the pan is gigantic. I mean, look at it in comparison to my face. I won't run out for a long time, which is good because their airbrush powder I'm almost out of. And I was like, if this is the same formula, I will go through it quick. Okay, so next with Hoola Bronzer, I'm gonna contour my nose just a little more. I did the cream contour, but I'm gonna set it with a powder. Okay, so I ran out of space, so I had to delete some things, but now we're back. So anyways, just finished contouring my nose. Now we're gonna do a little blush, and then we're gonna jump into the eyes, which are my favorite part of this whole look. Mostly just because I haven't been doing eyes in a really long time, like any sort of eyeshadow besides bronzer and blush. So with that, we'll jump back in. This is the Patrick Ta blush. I don't know that I've shown it in a video, so maybe it's new on here. But this is in the color She's Passionate. It's from his Monochrome Moment collection. He did just drop some new stuff at Sephora, which I really wanted to get, but the Sephora I went to didn't carry it, which was a bummer. I think he has cream blushes are the new thing, so. And I love cream product. And then of course, going back over everything I do with a beauty blender to make sure that the blend of everything is super seamless, as natural as it can be. So this is the, guess who, Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Eye Palette. This is what it looks like. It has 4 shades. You can get a little view of my setup. Hi! It's like Inception. Okay, anyways, so that is what it looks like. Maybe that's a better view. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so that being said, we're gonna take this light shade, gonna use it all over, kind of just prepping the eye, working it, starting in the crease, going up to the brow bone, and then down to the lash line. And I'm just taking this on a big fluffy brush. Okay, next I'm gonna take the pinky shade right next to it and use that. Oh, you have to be careful. See how much product comes up and how much is on the brush? Just kills me. Knowing how expensive her products are. I mean, you're definitely getting what you pay for because you get so much product. It might look like a lot, but it packs a ton of pigment. I used to really stay in the like gold family, golden brown and tan family, I would say, of makeup, and I was really afraid to dip into like pinks. I still am really afraid to dip in like really any other form of color. But this palette, I wore it out to dinner when we were in Dallas, and I just loved the way it looked. And I slapped it on so quickly that night, it just made me feel like, okay, if I like actually take my time and use this palette to the best of its ability, it can be really cool. And it's so tiny, so good to travel with. And I'm also gonna start taking that shade underneath the lash line. Then gonna take this little shimmery color down here in the corner. I've really found the best way to do this is just with my finger. No other tool can really pick it up very well because it is super glittery. And kind of starting at the inner corner. I'm gonna zoom you in. Okay. Maybe I need to sit. Okay, that's as low as my trip will go. Anyways, so bringing it out, but mostly like focusing on that inner corner. Okay, so that's what the eyes look like with the glittery applied. Now on a smaller brush, I'm gonna take this corner shade. It's not really showing up. And we're gonna use that to kind of smoke it out, if you will. Then again, just dragging that same shade that I just popped into the outer corners across my bottom lash line. And that is the eyes. I'm gonna do highlighter underneath the brow bone, but that's what the eyes look like when they're done. So yeah. Okay, so I went ahead and did my, sorry, I'm in a Zoom meeting. So I'm trying to, you know, I'm muted, double checking. But anyways, did my mascara and my eyebrows. I just did Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz and then their clear brow gel as well. But for highlighter, I am going to use, this is a new product. This is the Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm All Over Diamond Veil. This is in How Many Carats. I saw this on a girl's Instagram, actually. She lives in Austin. I think her name's Kara. Her Instagram's like Makeup by Kara P, maybe. Could be totally wrong. But that's what it looks like in the packaging. It honestly like doesn't really look like anything special, but let me just swatch it. That's what it looks like swatched. It's insane. It looks like it would be white, but it is kind of gold. It's kind of pinky, which is why it's perfect for this look. So I'm going to take a smaller highlighter brush. I've noticed that the bigger bristle brushes don't work well with this product. You need a small one. So I just rub it kind of like this up and down the product. And I'm going to pop it onto... Look at that. That is just sickening. Okay, so to finish off this, I guess what has kind of turned into a Charlotte Tilbury inspired look, we're going to do the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat Pencil, of course, in the shade Pillow Talk. This is kind of just like a universally flattering shade. And then she's also done a darker shade too. My mom is much darker complexion than I am, and so the darker shade of Pillow Talk looks great on her. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so the lips are lined. Hair is down, looking a bit more normal. I'm going to take you outside so you can see how this light, or how it looks actually in the light. But lastly, I'm going to pop on a gloss. I have a couple of Fenty Beauty glosses, but this one I'm actually going to try. I got this in a 2-pack with the Gloss Bomb. This is the Gloss Bomb. I got this in the 2-pack with the highlighter. This is in the color Fussy. It's a little darker than the other one. Okay, well, so that's the finished look, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna take you outside and show you what it looks like.